Hi, it's John here from UniTasterDays, and I'll be introducing this UniTaster On Demand event today, where we're going to be introducing university courses in sports journalism. I'm delighted to be joined by Will Cope, who's joining us from Solent University in Southampton. Will is the course leader for the sports journalism programme, so I could not think of anyone better to give you an introduction in relation to opportunities in relation to sports journalism. With these events, we often cover things like why you might be interested in studying the course, what to expect on it, application tips and an overview of careers, and no doubt Will's going to cover all or many of those subjects with his session. With that, I'll pass things to Will Cope, joining us from Solent University in Southampton. Thank you.
So, hello, as John says, my name is Will Cope, as you can see from the back of my screen. I'm talking to you today from Solent University in Southampton. This is what you would expect to see if you came to Solent. This is one of our welcoming buildings. This is one of our teaching spaces, called the Spark. Now, how about me then? Who am I? Well, I am Will. I'm a commentator, a presenter, a broadcaster, a voiceover artist. I'm also the course leader of the sports journalism degree at Solent University in Southampton. You can follow me on Twitter if you like, at Will Cope. You can always email me, will.cope@solent.ac.uk. You can also find me on LinkedIn under Will Cope profile. So I've been a commentator, a reporter, a sports journalist for 20 years. I've been working on local, national TV and radio for the likes of Sky Sports, Talk Sport, Channel 5, the EFL on Quest show. I've also worked at Solent University alongside my practicing work as a journalist for about 17 years or so. As I say, always feel free to reach out to me on any of the email or social media channels should you wish to talk shop. And shop is very much the talk about sports journalism. That's what I'm here to do, to talk to you about today. As John touched upon a little bit earlier on, I'll be covering four main areas: why to consider the subject area of sports journalism, what to expect if you do go ahead and study it, any relevant application tips that I think it would be important for you to hone in on, and also a bit of a careers overview of if you do the degree, where you may see yourself going in the future. Okay, so why would you consider sports journalism? Well, my answer to that question is actually to pose another question. Why not? Why would you not consider sports journalism? I mean, look at some of these pictures. The fear, the love, the helplessness, the celebration, the anxiety, the raw, unbridled emotion that sport brings us all on a daily and weekly basis. Sport, I suppose, if you think about it, like life itself, has it all. So if you can't play it, and let's be honest, a good number of us try, but don't necessarily manage to achieve the elite level. If you can't play it, why not immerse yourself in it as a career and be part of it on a daily or a weekly basis? I played a lot of sport when I was a youngster. I still play a bit of sport now. I was never good enough to be an elite athlete, but what I did hone in on was the fact that if I can't be there on the pitch being involved, how about being in the stands, watching, writing, reading, recording these events that really shape our lives? Also, think about it, sport is at the heart of a community. Now, I'm showing you this picture here because this is Southampton. And as you can see, ringed in the red, that's where Solent University is. And look just above the picture and see where St Mary's Stadium is. That's the home of Southampton Football Club. So Solent University, as you can see here, and indeed the football club, very, very close to each other, but also geographically at the center, at the actual heart of the community. We've got the river, we've got the bridges, we've got the buildings, we've got the parks, we've got the city centre, we've got the docks there. These are all really, really fundamental parts of the community. So I guess you could say that when sport goes wrong and sport forgets the role that it has in its community, as we've seen, particularly over the last few weeks or so with the likes of the European Super League, and football clubs, sports organisations going bust. When sport forgets its roots, it's rightly big news and it affects a lot of people. A lot of people live and breathe by the sport at the heart of their society. So, what to expect then if you study sports journalism? Well, let's hone in really on what a journalist does. Incidentally, we call it sports journalism at Solent. You may look at courses that call themselves sports media or multimedia sport or whatever. Ostensibly, it's the same thing. Journalism, media, one and the same thing. It's just different terminology for practically the thing that I love, and maybe you will love to or learn to love as well. So what does a journalist do? Well, it's someone who collects, writes, photographs, processes, edits, comments on news or indeed other topical information, which can be and which often is sport, and delivers it to members of the public. So a journalist is dealing with fact, and it's important to remember that, okay? So I have applicants, wannabe students, maybe people like you, who tell me that their aim is to talk about or write about sport and give their opinion. Okay, well, that's a noble, very, very noble and worthwhile goal. But remember, you're dealing with fact. So before the opinion comes the context, okay? Before you build up a platform to be able to give your view, you have to appreciate where sport is coming from and where that context is. And that is the sort of thing that we will teach you on a sports journalism degree here at Solent, or one would hope at other universities around the country. So being a sports journalist is about telling stories. It doesn't matter whether or not it's video, audio, photos, text. It doesn't matter what medium you're dealing with. It doesn't matter what language you're dealing with, whether you're dealing with black and white or color. Essentially, a journalist finds interesting people and tells their stories. Now, the great thing about being a journalist is that you can be as creative with the media as you want to be. There's almost no limits really to the sorts of things that you can try. Here's a snapshot of some of our students that come and do sports journalism at Solent University and the sorts of things they do. Left-hand side, it's pictures of guys and girls going out to election counts. Right-hand side, bottom right-hand side, we have students that work for local media, for football clubs. And that top right-hand picture is also 4 of our students actually went and worked at the 2018 FIFA Men's World Cup. Come and did a sports journalism degree, had an opportunity through the university to go and work at the Men's World Cup in Russia and get paid for it in the process. I mean, what better way of spending 3 years at university is there than being able to indulge your passion and being able to learn the skills that hopefully one day will get you out of bed in the morning. However, sport, though, of course, and sports media is also very much about the wider industry. It's not just about, games being played on a field or in a stadium between individuals or teams. So, throwing, kicking, catching, hitting, chasing a ball, for example. It's also about pitting people against each other, about testing skill, ability, dexterity, reactions, speed, concentration. All these sorts of things are very, very important. And all things that are very much present in esports. That's not a sport, people tell you. Yes, it is, very much so. It's a global sport. It's a global gaming sport. It's a global gaming market, which is estimated to be worth about $160 billion as we speak. And it's only going to get more and more important as the years go on. So should you choose to, and you come and do sports journalism at Solent, you can investigate the really, really powerful and increasing role that esports plays in your life and my life, even if you don't necessarily know it at the moment. And we can look at some of these global superstars. They may not be faces that you recognize. They may be faces you do recognize, but Faker from South Korea, or Notel from Denmark, or indeed England's own Wolfies. These are people that influence a whole generation of people and testing their skill, their ability, their speed, their dexterity, their concentration, their physical prowess and mental prowess on a weekly basis to entertain stadiums full of people up and down the country and indeed around the world. So what can you expect from a sports journalism degree? Well, we've already touched upon some of the reasons why you might want to do it. But certainly if you came and did sports journalism at Solent, and one would assume other universities around the country, that you'd be expected to work as a professional. So you'd be expected to replicate industry. You'd be expected to add to knowledge. You'd be expected to master skills and develop techniques. Very much working to deadlines. That's very much a central part of being a journalist. Investigating, research, understanding context. So, there may be a rivalry between Rangers and Celtic. it's not just because there's 2 teams in Glasgow, there's more than 2 teams in Glasgow, but it's about history, it's about culture, it's about religion, it's about economy, it's about so many, many different things. Also, we would expect you to understand audience and behaviors. We'd expect you to reflect and learn, and also really, really importantly, maximize your potential. And that's a really, really key thing. Whoever you are, whatever your ability is, whichever university you go to, make sure that you maximize your potential. If your potential is to get 55 out of 100, you make sure you hit that. If your potential is to make sure that you hit 75 or 80 out of 100, you really must make sure that you maximize your potential. And that's something that's very, very central to everything that we do on the sports journalism degree at Solent University. Again, I'm talking from a personal perspective, so I'm talking about what our degree offers, but sports journalism degrees up and down the land will be relatively similar. Okay, so there's 3 main pathways, if you like. There's an audio video pathway, which you'll see by the semester 1 and semester 2 modules down the left-hand side, and then moving into year 2 and then year 3. So audio journalism and production, video journalism and production, going on to develop and craft audio and video, working in a digital and mobile journalism setting, and then perfecting your practice before you go into industry. So that's one key thread illustrated down the left-hand side of this diagram. You've then got a writing thread, which is illustrated down the middle of the diagram. So the writing journey begins in sports reporting, and then going on to look at feature writing, and then moving down into a major project in your final year. That is a very much a key thread, because you may want to be a presenter, you may want to be a commentator, but unless you can write well for radio, for TV, for a digital platform, you're never going to be able to progress to the stage that you want to do, because you're always going to be held back. Writing, being able to write succinctly and appropriately for in each individual platform is very, very important. And also I mentioned about the context, the history, the religion, the culture, the language of sport. That's covered very much in that thread down the right-hand side of this diagram. So sport, media and society, looking at sport on a global scale as well, and looking how politics and culture underpins things like mega events like Olympic Games and Commonwealth Games and World Cups, and this sort of stuff is very, very important as well. Understanding that context, that background behind sport, what makes sport tick, why sport is so important to communities up and down this country and in all 4 corners of the globe. Okay, and then obviously our whole idea of journalism and research, being able to be a good investigator, being able to look at, react and work out what data means particularly, and then being able to follow it through into a dissertation or a major project in your final year. So they're kind of the 3, if they're the sorts of things you say, well, what can I expect when I'm in a lesson? They're the kind of the 3 main threads, the 3 main sort of key themes. Okay, now, application tips. I get asked this quite a lot. Well, you know, how should I stand out? Well, okay, let's talk about my 5 golden rules to any applicant. First and foremost, you've got to make yourself memorable. Okay, remember, as a course leader of a degree like sports journalism, and we're quite a big degree, we're big, we're popular, we've been going on a number of years. I may read hundreds and hundreds of application letters, so make sure that you stand out. Yeah, either in highlighting something that you're doing, an experience you've had, a skill that you possess, or simply something that you're studying. Make sure that you kind of stand out as something a little bit different, a little bit unique. At the same time though, don't try and be something that you're not. That's point number 2, yeah? Don't try and make yourself sound cleverer than you are. Don't try and use words that you don't understand. It's really important that you are true, you're authentic, and you, wherever possible, try and keep it simple, okay? I'd be much more interested in you if you speak from the heart than if you try to pretend to be something that you're not, okay? Importantly also, I want to see that you are dependable and reliable, not only because this is an important key facet of journalism, but also over the course of a university degree, there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be times when you're knocked off your perch. There's going to be times when you are deviated from your path, and you need to learn how to be able to deal with that and show some resilience, because that is a key part about going to university, going away, if you like, from the home nest of mum and dad or uncle and aunt or grandparent or whoever your guardian is, and kind of being able to move out into the world and make a path for yourself. So resilience is really, really important. Also, point number 4, you need to show that you're a team player. So sports journalism, like all facets of journalism, will involve a lot of independent work. Yes, you're going to be working on your own at times, but also you can't be, I suppose, a lone wolf. There's things that you will have to do independently, so show some self-discipline, but you're also almost always going to be working with other people. So that doesn't necessarily mean you need to like the people that you work with. It's not a case of putting them on your Christmas card list or making sure you don't forget their birthday, but be able to work with people, follow people, lead people, encourage and respect people that you work with, and indeed the people around you. And let's be honest, in a world where you can be anything, be nice. All right. And sometimes it's really, really important, I feel, just to be a team player and respect the people around you. And also, as a final sort of point, show me what you can do. Yeah, there's no better way of illustrating your passion for your subject and my subject area, sports journalism, than showing me some of the things that you've done. So do you have a blog? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have a podcast? Do you have a vlog? Do you have a portfolio of work that you want to show off to me? If you are proud of it, I want to look at it. Yeah, I want to see it. So show me your medals, show me your badges of honor. All right. And if you follow those 5 key application tips, you won't go too far wrong. In terms of looking at the degrees around the country, what sets the sports journalism degree at Solent apart from any other? Well, is it accredited? Is the degree accredited? Yes. The sports journalism degree at Solent is BJTC, the Broadcast Journalism Training Council accredited, or is it NCTJ? They're the 2 sort of gold seals within the journalism industry. Are there work experience opportunities? Yes. Not only do we offer work experience opportunities, we actively push you into doing it. In fact, it's mandatory for you to work in a place of work, a journalism place of work, to be able to pass our degree, because we embed it into our assessment, and we find that's really important. What are the facilities like at the university that you're thinking of going to? I would say at Solent, certainly they're industry leading, and people come and look at our facilities and say, whoa, this is amazing. Look at the size of your newsroom. Look at the size of all the toys that I can play with. Look at the number of radio studios. Look at these seminar rooms and workshop areas. So look at the facilities that you are looking at and say, can you see yourself working in this environment? And also, importantly, who's teaching you? People like me. Do some research on me, on my background. Am I still a working, practicing journalist? Yes. Am I someone that's talking a good game but not actually doing it? No, I'm not. Am I somebody that used to work in the industry 20 years ago but hasn't been near a camera or a microphone in the best part of the last 2 decades? No, I'm not. I'm doing it every single week. So I am reflecting on my practice and bringing it into the classroom. And I feel that having active industry practitioners is very, very important when you're talking about a university degree. Okay, so where can I go with this wonderful sports journalism degree then? Where can I go and who can I be? Well, I could give you a list of jobs that are alumni, which is a posh word for graduates, by the way, people that used to do the degree. I could give you a list of jobs of where they are and what they do, but I feel that's impersonal. You, like me, you want to see someone that maybe looks like you, comes from your background, speaks like you, maybe from your neighborhood, who studies sports journalism and looking at what they're doing now. So here you go, folks. These are actual jobs from actual people that have done our degree, sports journalism, and what they're doing now. Some of these faces you may recognize. Joe Tomlinson is a presenter on Sky Sports and the Football Daily. Luke Augustus is the deputy sports editor at the Daily Mail Online. These people are all contactable, by the way, on social media. You look them up and you say, hey, what was your experience like doing sports journalism? And they will tell you. Max Whittle is a presenter on Sky Sports on Amazon Prime. Tom Jackson is the head of audio and video at Livewire Sports, which is a company that produces the social media and digital content for many, many organizations up and down the country. People that you wouldn't even realize give their contract to companies like Livewire to actually take care of their social media for them. If you're a fan of Match of the Day magazine, Lee Stobbs is the deputy editor of it. Dan Sheldon writes for the Reporter, for the Athletic rather. Alex McCarthy is the sports editor, the US sports editor of Talk Sport. Lucy Hughes is a freelance reporter and producer for ITV Racing. These are actual people that have gone and done our degree and work in the industry. So that, if you like, is a potential career path for you. If you have seen yourself maybe going and working for a football club or a cricket club or a rugby club or tennis or snooker or whatever it is, these are actual people who have done our degree and look at where they are now. Birmingham City, Aston Villa, Hampshire, Southampton, Chelsea, Bath Rugby, World Snooker, Marylebone Cricket Club, ATP Tour. This, folks, is just a very, very small snapshot of where our fantastic young people go, taking on board the skills that they've learned and developed it and gone and worked in the industry of their choice. And this, if you like, is our mantra. It's what resonates with me. Hopefully it resonates with you. And if you are a passionate sports loving person, we aim to make you into an industry ready graduate. So someone that can take their practical and academic skills from our degree and move seamlessly into the workplace of their choice. And if that rings true with you, then maybe, just maybe, sports journalism is the route for you. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your educational journey.